whenever we do class introductions on the very first day of class, everybody says like name, major, hometown. So I'm like, okay, hi, my name is Hannah Christensen. I'm an early childhood education major from Utah. And everybody's like, Utah, what? And so that lends itself to a lot of different conversations. And quite frankly, a lot of the time they'll be like, why did you choose to come to Belmont? And a lot of people back home ask me the same question. So this video is meant to answer all the questions by telling you exactly my story and my journey to Belmont. Hi everyone, welcome back. If we haven't met yet, my name is Hannah Christensen and I just finished my freshman year at Belmont University. Now, as a little bit of background, I grew up in Sandy, Utah for like my childhood, and then I spent my secondary years in West Jordan, Utah, which was just like 15 minutes west of where I grew up. And both of those are about 40-ish minutes away from Salt Lake City, Utah, which is the capital. So I grew up in a suburban part of Utah. That's just a little bit of background. That'll make more sense as we talk about why I chose Belmont University. It all starts my freshman year of high school. I sit down in my guidance counselor's office for my college and career readiness meeting, and my parents are there. And we sit down, and my counselor says, if money weren't an issue, where would you go to college? And I said Utah State, okay? Utah State. For years, I had been set on going to Utah State and studying early childhood education, okay? For years. Literal years. I'm also a really big homebody, okay? I'm a Cancerian. If you don't know anything about zodiac signs, Cancerian are very family-oriented. And I embody that part very hardcore. So I didn't want to go super far. Like, I knew I needed to get away from home, but I didn't want to go super far away from home at that moment in time. And so he pulls up my grades and he's like, you have the grades. You have the grades to consider going out of state. And based on your grades and the classes you're taking, I know for sure you have the brain and you're going to get the scores to go out of state. I think you should start looking at out of state colleges. I was like, okay. And he's like, you know what? You said you want to study education. Let's see what the top education programs in the country are. So he starts naming off the top education programs in the country. He starts naming all of these. And he says, Vanderbilt University, Nashville, Tennessee. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds fun. Okay. Keep in mind, one of my favorite movies growing up was Pure Country 2, The Gift. Okay. If you haven't seen Pure Country 2, The Gift, you need to go watch it. It'll explain a whole bunch about Hannah Christensen in that movie, honestly. But I was like, ooh, Nashville, Tennessee. Okay, I like that. I kind of like the ring to that. That's fun. So I kind of let that marinate in my brain. Come back sophomore year for my next CCR. And he's like, so, where do you want to go? And I'm like, I still want to go to Utah State. But I am looking at other out-of-state colleges. And he's like, okay. So then I talked to him in the hallway one day, and I'm like, I think I want to go to Tennessee. And he's like, okay. So he writes on a sticky note, Belmont University. And he's like, I think you should look into this. So I look into Belmont, and I'm like, okay, this is kind of cool. It's smaller. I like it. Okay, Belmont University. It's in Nashville. Okay. Okay. And so I kind of start thinking about that. Well, quarantine happens. And I'm stuck at home all day. And I start having all these dreams. I mean, a lot of my ideas come to me in dreams. You are going to learn that about me. a lot of my crazy ideas and life-changing ideas come to me when I'm sleeping. And this was no exception. I start having these dreams where I'm in Nashville. And I'm living in Nashville and I'm having a grand old time and I'm loving every minute and I'm writing music and I'm performing and I'm studying for school, obviously, and I just love it every single second. And I start talking to my friend, Alyssa, every night on the phone, okay? Because that's kind of how both of us coped, was by talking to each other on the phone. And we were just kind of talking and about future careers, and I would write music and she would write books, and we'd give each other writing prompts, like all these sorts of things. And I tell her one night, I want to go to Nashville. I say, I want to go to Nashville. And she's like, okay, go for it. So she was the first person to find out about this want to go to Nashville. I mean, my counselor had heard about my want to go to Tennessee and go somewhere else, but he wasn't taking it very serious. He just gave me the name of Belmont and said, I think you should look into this. Because I went to public charter school where my graduating class was 76 people. And my counselor knew me enough to be like, I don't think it's the best idea for you to go from a class size of 76 at a very small school to a class of like 5,000 something at a really big university. I don't think that's the greatest idea. And so that's part of the reason why he recommended Belmont to me, especially after I said, I think I want to go to Tennessee. You know, but he wasn't putting much thought into it because he just wasn't putting much thought into it because I didn't have a full-fledged plan. I was just kind of like, I'm thinking about it, you know. So I go to my CCR meeting junior year, and he sits down and he's like, okay, so what do you want to do? And I was like, I want to study early childhood education at Vanderbilt University. And my parents turned to me and they're like, huh? And they're like, huh? Like, excuse me, what? Like, are you sure? And they're like, you realize Nashville is completely different than Utah, right? You realize that, right? I'm like, yes, I realize that. But I really want to go to Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. And my parents were like, how about we plan a vacation and we visit it, and then we can come back to this. If you still want to go after our trip, then I guess you can. So we go for my trip. And it's like end of July. So that's like the peak heat of the summer. Like peak heat of the summer is in July, and we go to Nashville in July. Okay, keep in mind, Utah is a very hot and dry place, okay? I'm going from somewhere hot and dry to somewhere hot and humid, and I've never been somewhere hot and humid. And so my parents are like, she's not going to like the humidity. Well, no, I loved the humidity. I felt alive in the humidity. My skin looked amazing. My hair looked amazing. In fact, my hair was holding a curl more than it does here in Utah, which is saying something. And I was like, I love this place. The hotel we were staying at was pretty close to Broadway, and so we were hearing music until the late night, and I was enjoying every single minute of it. And then we go on our campus tours, and we go to Vanderbilt, and I love it. I'm like, oh, this is very studious. I love the stairs. I love everything. We go to Belmont that afternoon, okay? We walk in, and it's marble. It's marble. And there's lots and lots of columns. And I am like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous. We sit down. My dad has MS, and his MS was kind of acting up, so he just stays in the air-conditioned building as me and my mom go on this tour, and we're walking around, and I'm seeing all the greenery, and I'm seeing all the concert halls, and I'm seeing the gazebos and the columns and the marble and everything. And I'm like, This place is gorgeous. But I was also really kind of dead set on Vanderbilt. And my parents knew I was supposed to go to Belmont. Like, they knew I was going to come to Nashville after those tours, after the fact that we were hearing music everywhere. They knew I was going to be coming to Nashville. And so they kind of were accepting that. So I go home. I start my senior year. I have my CCR. I tell my counselor I'm applying to this school and this school and this school. I applied to Duke in North Carolina because I was like, that sounds interesting. I applied to Belmont. I applied to Vanderbilt. I applied to like 4 schools in Utah. And I was like, okay, cool. The first college I heard back from was Belmont. Belmont was the first college I heard back from. And in my acceptance letter, it said that I got a $10,000 merit scholarship, which is amazing. I love that. And so I was super excited. I was super stoked. And I just couldn't wait. Like, I was beyond excited. And so I start getting more and more acceptance letters. And I don't get into Duke. I heard back from Utah State. And I got a scholarship. But it was a $2,000 scholarship. I'd get $500 a semester for 2 years. Great. That pays for books. Okay, but that's still a lot of college to pay for. Then I hear back from the U. I get accepted. Great. I don't get any scholarships. Okay? And there's some things that have happened at the U, and I've been to the U a lot. And I was just like, you know what? I don't think the U is the place I'm supposed to be. So at that moment in time, I was really divided between Utah State and Belmont. Utah State, I wouldn't have to pay any out-of-state fees because it's in-state. I had books covered for 4 semesters. And that's cool. And then on the other hand, I had Belmont. It's a private Christian university, which means that it's just kind of a flat fee. And I had a $10,000 merit scholarship. And I kind of started looking at the numbers, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to pretty much pay the same amount for my college education at both universities. I'm going to pretty much pay the same amount for my schooling. And I can't remember which CCR meeting with my counselor this was said in, but my counselor had told me, if it came down to it, would you go out of state? If money wasn't the issue, would you go out of state? Would you do everything you could to go out of state? And I said yes. I would do whatever I had to do. And in the end, that's exactly what happened. I was about to pay the same amount wherever I was going to go. Pretty much. I think there was maybe $1,000 difference. Maybe. But like, that factors in books and housing and transportation and all that sort of stuff. It was maybe $1,000 difference. And that $1,000 would come junior, senior year. And it would end up being the same junior, senior year. And so I decided in that moment, I was like, I'm paying for college no matter what. I'm going to go out of state. And so in that moment, I've decided on Belmont. This is happening. And it being a safer campus made my mom feel safe. My dad, he got a degree in accounting, and so obviously he thinks about all the numbers. And when he realized, yes, for sure, I know that I'm paying my way through college and exactly how much it's going to cost me, and the fact that I will be paying off my student loans for the rest of my life, he was okay with it because he didn't want to hold me back. And so I chose Belmont, and I have loved every single moment that I have spent at Belmont. I've met amazing people, been on a whole journey of my majors, which that's the next video. It's this whole journey of majors that I went on. So I won't spoil that for you. Make sure you tune in and watch that one. But I love every minute. I'm so excited to start my sophomore year in a few months and continue this amazing journey that I've been on, because Belmont truly was the college I was supposed to go to. It's my second home. And that's just one thing I want to tell people. If you're a high school senior and you're thinking about where you want to go to college, I mean, I remember I would watch different videos of people saying why they chose their specific college or university. And if you're watching this video because you're in that state, good luck. Write pros and cons lists. Write the things that you like. Go on campus visits. I'm serious. Go on a campus visit. Like, honestly, I see tours going on at Belmont's campus all the time. All the time. So just find a time to go visit the campus. And just see for yourself. I wish you good luck. I truly wish you good luck. I hope wherever you go, you end up enjoying it. And to all the people who have chosen Belmont, welcome to this incredible journey. I'm so glad to have you as part of our Bruin family, and it's going to be an amazing adventure every single step of the way. So yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And have a wonderful rest of your day, night, or whatever.